All right, let's get right into this training. So I am super excited because this is the first time I'm doing something like this on YouTube. I'm literally about to drop a lot of gems right here for all of my hustle babes who are subscribed to my channel and for the new hustle babes who are just discovering my channel. So today I am going to be training you on how you can have a successful launch using bomb branding strategies. All right. So first things first, I want to go over just a few technical tips. Okay. So I want to make sure that you do not miss anything in this training. So one, make sure you have a notebook in front of you and a pen, or make sure that you have the workbook in front of you, which you can find by opening up the description box. There is a kind of like a guide along notebook where you can take some notes. You also want to make sure that you have a quiet space, right, away from distractions, because you want to be able to really hone in on what I am teaching you and get the most out of this. You also want to make sure that if you have any questions or anything like that, your mind is clear and you have the capacity to actually ask those questions. Okay. Make sure that you are on a reliable source of internet so that you can hear me crystal clear. If you need to, put in some headphones to block out some distractions and to keep that focus. And just make sure that your internet is A1 steak sauce, okay? Another thing is, if you are watching this as the premiere, you are going to see a chat box somewhere on the screen, depending on what device you are watching it on. So please engage with the members within the chat, because that is how you are going to get the most out of this class. If you are watching this after the premiere is already done, maybe it's a few hours later, days, weeks, or maybe even months, you can still comment down below as if you are engaging live with us, okay? And I will do my best to respond to comments, and I'm going to be doing my best to actually engage in the chat, which is so exciting, y'all. All right, so let's get some things out the way, okay? Let's get some housekeeping done, all right? Because I don't want you to sit here and watch this entire training if it is not meant for you. So this training is perfect for you if you are ready to learn how to launch a business successfully. So in today's training, I am going to be discussing the strategic steps that you need to take to execute a launch that will meet all of your goals. If you are ready to build a brand that your audience loves, this training is also for you, because I am going to be covering important branding techniques that will build a brand your audience recognizes and loves. Like, they are going to be ready to pour out their pockets to you or to share all of your products with their friends and family because of how much they love your brand. So if you are ready for that, then this training is definitely for you. This training is also for you if you are ready to learn what you did wrong with your launch. So I understand that sometimes things don't go too well the first time around, okay? And so today I am going to be sharing the steps that aren't just for aspiring business owners, but are also for those new business owners as well who realize they took a little misstep when they first launched. And so the steps that I'm going to be sharing with you are super helpful so that you can correct the wrongs that you did, okay? And actually relaunch the right way. This is also for you if you are ready to launch a fruitful business, because nobody wants to launch a business that is a flop, okay? So if you are ready to launch a business that you will eventually scale and put on autopilot to allow you to live on your own terms, then definitely stick around, because you are in the right place, all right? I am so excited, y'all. So let's talk about who this training is not for, okay? This training is not for you if you aren't going to put in the work. So if you are looking for an easy way out, you think that this is easy money, this training is not for you. If you are looking for a get rich quick scheme, this training is definitely not for you, because baby, entrepreneurship is all about those trials and tribulations, learning from your mistakes, continuously growing, continuously investing in yourself, and just doing the darn thing. So if you were looking for a get rich quick scheme, this is not for you. And this training is especially for you if you're willing to invest in your dreams. So if you're not willing to invest in your dreams, then unfortunately this training may not be for you, because it takes investment of time, money, effort in order to reach your goals and your full potential. Okay, so that's a little bit about who this training is for and who this training is not for. I really hope that this training gives you a ton of information. I already know it is, because y'all know I don't drop nothing but the best gems. Okay, so you already know it is about to be litty. Okay, so you want to stick around for some bonuses, because I actually have a couple of things that I am giving you guys. So there's a training workbook in the description box. It is completely free and it goes along with the presentation. So if you want to grab it and maybe print it out and use it later on when you rewatch this, or maybe you have a printer at home, you want to pause real quick, print that out, and then continue watching the video so that you could fill it in, go ahead and open up the description box and grab that training workbook. I will also be in the chat for about an hour or so answering questions. So the lucky people who are in here during the premiere experience, you get answers from me directly in the chat box. Okay. And if you missed the premiere experience and you're commenting, I'm going to do my best to respond to comments. Okay. So that way I can make sure that I answer any questions that you may have. I am also going to be sharing a limited time opportunity to get in-depth training on marketing strategies that you need to master prior to launch. All right. And you're only going to hear about it right here on this training. I felt like I needed to share this with my YouTube family, so why not? Okay, so make sure that you grab those bonuses and stick around for the ones that will be toward the end. All right, so if you are excited for today's training, put it in the chat box or in the comment section. Let me know how excited you are. Maybe drop your favorite emoji. Tell me if you got your notepad. Just drop how excited you are for this training. And I got my water here because got to make sure I stay hydrated. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what made you click this video, okay? Let's talk about why you are here watching this either on the premiere or watching this later down the line, okay? So you are here today because of one of three reasons. Either you're frustrated and confused on what exactly needs to be done to have a successful launch, okay? So you're sick of it. You are tired of exhausting your brain trying to figure it out on your own, and so you're here because you're frustrated and confused and you need that clarity. Or you may be here because you're upset that you didn't do so well during your initial business launch and now you want a do-over, okay? So maybe you launched in the past month and you didn't see much success. Maybe you got one sale or two sales or no sales, and you're like, wait a minute, something is wrong here. Let me start from scratch with a little bit of guidance. Or you may be here today because you lack support, motivation, and resources, and so you're completely lost on what to do next to get your brand and business off the ground, okay? So you could be here for those three reasons. So right now in the chat box or in the comment box, I want you to put 1, 2, or 3, depending on what you're here for. So put a 1 in the chat box if you're getting ready to launch your business, but you lack a branding and a marketing plan. Put a 1, okay? So if you are getting ready to launch your business and you lack a branding and marketing plan, put a 1 in the chat box or in the comment section. If you failed at your first launch and now you realize that you need some branding and business knowledge in order to be successful, put a 2. Okay, so put a 2 in the chat box if you failed at your first launch and now you realize that you need branding and business knowledge to be successful. And then put a 3 in the chat box if you did okay during your launch, but now you're struggling to keep up the momentum because you lack strategy. So maybe you got 10 sales or 15 sales during your launch and you're like, all right, that was okay. And maybe you kept up with that for the first 3 months, but now it's like, wait a minute. What is going on? Why am I not getting any sales? Why did things slow down for me? If that is you, put a 3, okay? So put a 1, 2, or 3 in the chat box or the comment section, depending on which one you are, okay? So 1 is if you're getting ready to launch your business, but you lack a branding and a marketing plan. 2 is if you failed, quote unquote, at your first launch and now realize that you need branding and business knowledge to be successful. Or 3, because you did okay during your launch, but now you're struggling to keep up that momentum because you lack strategy, sis. or bro, because they are some guys that watch my channel, okay? So put those numbers in the chat box and I will be engaging it with you in there, okay? So let me tell you a little bit about me before I hop into all of this tea. I have some OG subscribers that may be watching this training, so y'all probably already know a lot of this stuff. But for the people who are new, this is the first time you're watching my video, or maybe you haven't seen many of my videos. You may not know exactly who I am, other than I'm the cutie patootie that you see on the screen. But anyway, I am Chanel Q Benjamin, and I am a branding strategist, okay? So I actually launched the Brand Hustler LLC in April of 2019 after already owning my own shoe boutique. I am also the owner of the Hustle Babe agency, and I'm the owner and the mentor within the E-Hustle Club, okay? And something that I love to tell people, because I prayed to have an impeccable impact when it came to, you know, women and business and life and motivation. And so I am extremely blessed to have over 100,000 women within my community, okay? And so by community, I mean a combination of my subscribers, my followers on Instagram, TikTok, my email list. I have over 100,000 women in my community, and I think it's actually closer to like 130,000. So that is amazing, because God is blessing me with the ability to impact so many people. I absolutely love it, okay? And so if you didn't know about me, I just want to tell you kind of like what I do as a brand strategist. So I have refined and worked on my brand as I grew, and I actually help established fashion and beauty entrepreneurs scale their product-based business by removing marketing roadblocks caused by inconsistent branding. Okay, and so if you are watching this video right now, you're like, okay, Chanel, well, I'm not established. I'm still in my launch phase. So why are you even helping me right now during this training? And so I want you to pay attention to a few things that I said, okay? So I said that I help established fashion and beauty entrepreneurs scale their product-based businesses by removing marketing roadblocks caused by inconsistent branding. That is a huge term right there, okay? So basically what I am doing in this training is I'm trying to help you before you even get to that space, right? So the women I help have already been in business for over a year, some of them 3 years, and they have already hit maybe 50,000, 100,000 in sales, but they can't seem to scale their business because there are some things at the beginning that they didn't do correctly. There's some inconsistent branding that they never developed at the beginning, and that is hindering their growth, right? It's hindering them from hitting 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, a million, wherever. It's hindering their growth, okay? And so what is the best way to prevent that is to start from the ground up, okay? So that's why I was like, let me do a training on how to launch successfully, right, the right way with branding strategies, so that way you can hit your initial goal of maybe 50K, hit your secondary goal of 100K, and continue to hit goals as you grow, whether that's 200K, 500K, or maybe even your $1 million goal, because you already launched the right way and you had the branding foundation at the beginning. So that way, whatever goal you want to hit as you grow will become so much easier for you, and you won't have those roadblocks that a lot of my established clients are dealing with, okay? So that is why I'm doing this training tonight. It's honestly to lend a helping hand so that you don't have to get to that point, all right? And so as I am doing this, as you're watching this video and as I'm doing this training, please feel free to shout me out on Instagram. My Instagram handle is the Brand Hustler. If you're not subscribed to this channel, definitely hit the subscription box, because definitely hit the subscription button, because what are you doing? I drop videos every Tuesday and Thursday, definitely helping you build your brand through marketing and branding strategies. And I also share a little bit of entrepreneurship lifestyle content. So subscribe if you're interested in that. You can follow me on TikTok as well. Facebook, I'm not on so much, but definitely follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at The Brand Hustler. All right? So let's get it cracking, okay? Let's get it cracking. Let me drink some water for this, because this right here is serious, Okay. So before I even talk about the strategies and the branding foundations that it takes to launch, let's talk about some of these fears that you have that are stopping you from launching, okay? Because I can't count how many times I speak to someone who has been launching for 5 years. You know, you've been trying to launch.
I understand.
You've been trying to launch for a full 8 months, but for some reason you can't get over the hump because you have certain fears that are stopping you from actually launching, okay? So let's go through what those fears may be. And as I mentioned these fears, feel free to comment either in the chat box or the comment section which one of these fears actually hits home for you, okay? So one, maybe you have the fear of lack of support, right? Maybe your family, your significant other, your friends, you feel like they don't support you and you're scared that when you actually launch this business, no one in the world is going to support you because your family and friends already don't. Let's get rid of that right now, okay? Because you do not need your family and your significant other or your friends to support you. Why? Because when you build out a particular audience, right, you develop a target audience, you then attract the people who need and want your products, okay? So it doesn't matter if your family and friends support you. There are billions of people in the world, and a good chunk of those people are waiting for a business just like yours to support, okay? They're waiting for a brand just like yours to support. So don't let lack of support stop you, all right? I can honestly say that I haven't had, let me think, outside of like maybe my mom, I haven't really had a family member purchase anything from me, okay? Like I've had some friends purchase some stuff from me and my significant other purchased some things from me, but even then I never relied on that. Like I never beat myself up about them not supporting me. They did it just because they saw that I was doing my thing and they were like, okay, well, let me support you and let me share. That's how it went. It was never me forcing them to support me because I didn't care about that. I was focused on reaching the people who actually needed me, okay? So that's one. The second fear that you may be having is maybe you don't have any money, okay? And so if you've ever heard the phrase, start with what you have, invest what you have and grow from there. You can definitely do that, okay? When I started my shoe boutique, I was not making a lot of money, and you will hear about that in a second, but I was not making a lot of money. But what I did was I created a saving plan, right, with the help of a financial advisor, and I created that saving plan. Mind you, it wasn't free to talk to that financial advisor. I paid him monthly, and with the help of his guidance, I was able to save up enough to actually start my shoe boutique. And then I did the same thing to start the Brand Hustler, okay? So don't let money stop you. Create a plan to get the money that you need. If you need to do a side hustle, do it. I did every side hustle you could think of. Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, Shipt, Instacart, all of them. I did them, okay? The third fear is maybe you think there's too much competition. This is where having a solid brand comes in. It doesn't matter what else is out there because if you uniquely position yourself, right? You uniquely position your brand to solve a specific problem or provide a resource to a specific need in a unique way to attract your specific target audience, competition is really non-existent, okay? So don't let that stop you. The fourth is fear of failure and low confidence. And I'm going to be completely honest. This is the one that actually was stopping me a little bit, okay? It was fear of failure. I feel like everything I touch needs to be gold. And sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes something you touch may be silver. Sometimes, you have to not be that full 100% success because you need to learn certain things that will then get you to 150%, if that makes sense, right? So if you were perfect from the get-go, there's a lot of things in life, and the same thing applies to business, that you wouldn't be able to learn to get you to where you are today. So you have to think about that with business too. It's important for you to just start with what you have, invest in resources and knowledge, and as you do certain things, you will learn and you will grow, okay? So take the fear of failure out of your head. And that is something that I consistently have to tell myself. And then the fifth one is maybe you don't have any resources or knowledge. And that shouldn't be a fear anymore because you are watching this training right now. All right. And at the end of this training, I'm going to share with you how you can get more training from me. So that we could toss that away immediately because you are already here. Okay. So whatever fear may be stopping you, put it in the chat box or in the comment section. Be completely honest, and make that promise to yourself that you are going to stop that fear from hindering your launch or hindering anything it is that you want to do in life or in business, okay? So just make the jump. All right. Another thing that I want to tell you is remember your why, okay? So there should be an underlying reason why you want to start this business. There should be an underlying reason why you want to launch, why you want to build such an amazing brand. There's a reason for it. My reason is because I want to be able to travel the world, afford nice things, spend quality time with the people that I love, etc., etc. So remember what that why is, because there are going to be times where you feel like giving up, and it's important to remember why you started in the first place so that you can keep on going, okay? So just remember your why. Now, let's get into it. So I mentioned that I had a shoe boutique. I mentioned that, I used it as like a catapulting point for my life. And if you know a little bit about my story, you'll know that I was in corporate America for a while, okay? So I spent a few years in corporate America, and that was after graduating from the University of Florida with a public relations degree, okay? And for those who don't know what public relations is, please Google it because I'll be here for years trying to explain it. But it really kind of serves as the umbrella to marketing and advertising, okay? So public relations really gives me an understanding of people, what they do, why they do it, how it relates to business, how brands should position themselves to attract and convert certain personalities, certain people, age groups, and things like that. So I did a whole bunch of case studies, a whole bunch of marketing campaigns for actual companies while at UF. That was the amazing thing about going to the University of Florida is they are well connected and you get to do real deal work for companies, okay? So that was pretty cool. But after graduating from the University of Florida, I went straight into corporate America, okay? Aside from internships with the University Athletic Association at my college, the Florida High School Athletic Association, I then started working for a car rental company. I then moved on to a local marketing firm within the Atlanta area. And then I worked for a petroleum finance company where I acted pretty much as the marketing director, to be honest, because after about 2 months of me being hired as the marketing coordinator, the VP of marketing quit, and then I had to take on his responsibility, but they didn't pay me for it. I just had to take on that responsibility. So I was actually brainstorming, creating, and executing all of the marketing for this petroleum finance company. And the petroleum finance company that I worked with, we did campaigns with Exxon, BP, Marathon, and things like that, like these big deal gas stations, which is crazy, okay? So it is crazy to think about some of the big companies that I work with, and even down to the local marketing firm. I've worked with different CPAs, different roofing companies, like very large product companies and things like that unfortunately I can't really disclose. But I was able to touch a lot of different sizes of businesses in the corporate world, and I was able to see marketing budgets of millions of dollars, okay, which is insane. All right. And so I spent years, and I even dibbled and dabbled into grad school, but I ended up just saying I didn't want to do that anymore. But even though I was in corporate America and I was making an impact, I quit in April of 2019 to start the brand Hustler. Okay. And I want to tell you a little bit about why. Okay. But before I quit, I actually tried to make money on the side. So I was working in corporate America, and it was like I never was fully satisfied. I was never fulfilled because I felt as if my impact didn't matter there, right? I felt as if I didn't matter in corporate America, and I felt like, I wasn't doing enough. So I decided to start my shoe boutique on the side just to fulfill that want of making a bigger impact, but also because I just always had a knack for entrepreneurship. I started my first business in high school, which is, a whole other story in itself. But I started my shoe boutique, and I ended up doing very, very well within my first few months, well, actually few weeks of launching. Okay. And you'll see what my launch numbers were my first week, but I did so well. And I was always attending pop-up shops, and there were always people asking me questions about how I got the amount of followers I got. When after speaking with them, they learned about my email size. They was always asking, how did I get that amount on my email list? How did I do so well my first week of launch, et cetera, et cetera. And because a lot of women kept asking me these things, I decided that I should maybe help them out. And I was like, okay, maybe I should start doing like events or coaching sessions or something like that. And from that idea and some other things that occurred in life, I ended up birthing the Brand Hustler. Okay. And if you want like the full depth story time on how the Brand Hustler came about, how my shoe boutique life was, what happened in corporate America, et cetera, go ahead and watch my story time video on how I became a six-figure entrepreneur. I'm going to go ahead and link it somewhere on this screen. And you can click it and watch it after this training. I also link it in the description box so that you can grab it there later as well. Okay. But basically, after starting that shoe boutique, I was doing well. And so I was happy, but then I was like, I'm still not satisfied with my main job. Like I really was like, I'm over it. I'm ready to go because I felt like I wasn't valued. Okay. I worked 10 to 13 hour days, right? Let's start there. 10 to 13 hour days. That's a whole lot of overtime. My marketing that I did earned the last company I was at, a lot of money, right? Within just one quarter alone, the company earned 4.8 million. Okay. But I barely got to see any of that. Okay. Like they gave me a bonus of $100 when I made them 4.8 billion. And remember, I said that the VP of marketing quit. And so I was doing the job of two people and a job of someone who used to make six figures before he quit. Right. So put that into perspective. And so I only got paid $45,000 flat as my salary, while other people who did less than me in other positions got paid way more. Okay. And so I wasn't valued for several different reasons, but I'm not going to get into that today. But that is what really gave me the push I needed to leave and start the Brand Hustler, in addition to me starting the shoe boutique and seeing that there were other women out there who struggled with things I knew because of what I learned in corporate America or what I learned at the University of Florida. Okay. So these are old numbers. These are from January. Currently I actually make more than this, but I just want to put it into perspective, right? I was making roughly about $3,400 a month in corporate America, right? In January of this year, I was making $26,000 for the month, okay? Obviously, there's things that are taken out for business expenses and things like that, but any entrepreneur will tell you that the goal is always to keep like at least 40% of what is made. So you do the math and you can figure that out, right? But right now I actually make more than that in a month, which is a blessing, thanks to God, but also thanks to the fact that I made sure that I had a launch marketing strategy, one with my shoe boutique, which allowed me to see success in such a short period of time. And then two, with the Brand Hustler, okay? And the other businesses that I branched off from the Brand Hustler, okay? They all had that in common, okay? So here's what I learned. I learned that my business's success is possible because of one thing that I did correctly. So guess what that one thing is, and put it in the chat box or in the comment section. There was one thing that I did correctly that helped me be a success. Here is what I did. I planned and executed a launch marketing strategy using branding and business knowledge I gained from school and from corporate America. Okay, so once again, what I did correctly for the shoe boutique and for the Brand Hustler was that I planned and executed a marketing strategy, a launch marketing strategy, using branding and business knowledge I gained from school and corporate America. All right. And so a lot of you guys are trying to go from aspiring business owner to running a successful business. Okay. If this is you and you're guilty, put it in the comment section or the chat box. You are missing the middle step. You're trying to go from wanting to run a business to running a successful business, making 6 and plus figures, but you're missing the step in between. It is impossible to go from wanting to run a business to running a successful business without that step in between. And that step in between is strategy, okay? You need to have some sort of strategy that will take you from level 1 to level 10. There's absolutely no way you can just skip levels. You have to put in the work. You have to invest in the knowledge and the resources to gain the strategy that you need to be successful, okay? So the missing step is launch marketing strategy. The missing step is always strategy, period, okay? Let's talk about it, all right? So why a launch marketing strategy is important is because it helps you build a solid brand that people recognize, respect, and love. It helps you attract your bullseye, which I call it bullseye, but other people call it target audience. And so it helps you attract them to build your community. It also helps you build anticipation for your launch so that people are rushing to buy from you on launch day. All right. And so a lot of you guys without a strategy, right? A lot of you guys may have seen like somebody try to launch before and then they complain afterwards. And sometimes it's because they don't have the strategy. And for the people in here that said that, you know, you launched before and it didn't go so well, you either didn't execute a strategy or your strategy wasn't a strategy to begin with. You thought you had a strategy, but it actually wasn't a strategy at all, right? And so you didn't use a strategy to launch, and that is why. Or you didn't build the brand foundation you should have, and that is why. Or you don't know who your target audience is or have built out your target audience correctly, and that could be why as well, okay? So you want to make sure that you have a strategy that checks all of these boxes. Now, let's get into my shoe boutique launch. So when I launched my shoe boutique, I had over 7,000 eyes on my website within my first week, and I actually made a little under $1,000 my first week, which is actually good because I ended up making, I think, a little over $4,000 my first month. Now, to some of you, that's like, oh, that's not a lot of money, but you have to remember that some people launch and don't make anything at all. Some people go months without seeing a single sale, okay? So to get to that point, especially when my shoes weren't even priced really high, is amazing, okay? And then I want to show you that with the right launch marketing strategy, you can continue to excel in business. So unfortunately, my shoe boutique only lasted about a quarter because then I switched gears and started the Brand Hustler. And so when I started the Brand Hustler, my goal was to make $4,200 in sales each month because I just wanted to replace the income I was getting from corporate America. In actuality, once I executed my launch marketing strategy, I was able to scale during my second quarter, and I actually ended up making an average of a little over $7,000 every month, okay? Which is really good. And I've continued to scale since then, which is why I'm at where I'm at right now, okay? So the training is going to show you the essential steps you need to take to launch successfully, as well as how to run a business that has a strong brand foundation and is scalable, okay? So the training is going to show you the essential steps to launch successfully and how to run a business that has a strong brand foundation and is scalable. So let's get into it. The two parts of this training is 1, launch branding, and then 2, launch marketing. So first, let's start off with launch branding, okay? So part A is launch branding, and I want to tell you branding basics first. So there's a difference between brand and business. And if you don't know the difference between brand and business, everything will continue to be a blur for you. All right, so let's break it down. So a brand is an experience. It is what sells your product. It is the face and voice and the visuals, and it's what people think and feel about your company, okay? Literally, I always explain branding as the experience. Your brand is the experience. There's a reason why when you go to Chick-fil-A, you feel a certain way. There's a reason why when you go to Publix, you feel a certain way. You experience a certain thing, okay? Because brand is an experience, okay? Now, business is the art of giving your product in exchange for money. That's it. Business is just, I'm selling you this pen and you're giving me $5 for it. It's also the legal things behind why and how you exist. So those are things like getting your business license, reseller's permit, how you operate, all that stuff. That is business. Business is also the team and processes that you create, okay? So your shipping process is a part of your business. It's not necessarily a part of your brand, because for you to ship, maybe you need to print labels, get a box. Susie needs to put the stuff in the box, and then Michael needs to actually take it to the post office. That's a process that you have within your business, okay? So brand and business are two separate things. The only thing that brand and business have in common is product and customers, because your brand sells your product through creating an experience, and that experience is through visuals and what people remember and think about your brand. And obviously with brand, it involves customers, because you need somebody to be thinking or seeing these things. And so that's why brand includes customers. And then your business is the selling of your product to a customer, which is why product and customers are the only thing that brand and business has in common, but they're two separate things. So your brand is an experience. Your business is the art of actually selling your product. The 3 C's of branding are cohesiveness, consistency, and creativity, okay? So when it comes to building out a brand, you want to make sure that you have a cohesive brand, a consistent brand, and a creative brand. Having all 3 of these will allow your audience to remember you no matter what, right? If they were to see a billboard, they should be able to recognize that billboard because they know what your website looks like, or they know what your Instagram looks like, or they know what your print flyers look like, okay? Your brand should also be creative, okay? Because you are attracting an audience in a unique way to solve that problem or provide a resource to that need. And so you need to have a creative way of showcasing that, right? And so I just put these screenshots on the screen because I absolutely love this brand. And I'm telling you, I can see anything, whether it's an ad or a billboard, and I know exactly the company because of the visuals that she gives, but then also just the overall consistency, cohesiveness, and creativity of her brand, okay? And I could say the same thing for Ming Lee's brand, which is the Snob Mob and Snob Life, okay? So how can you actually create a brand when it comes to launching, okay? So let's talk about it. So step 1 is you want to perform what's called a problem and solution analysis. All right. So you want to perform a problem and solution analysis. So here's how you do that. To perform a problem and solution analysis, you want to research an industry that you love to identify a problem or a need within that industry, because we are in business to solve a problem or provide a need to a resource. We're not in business just to be in business. Okay, so that means your products should be doing something for your audience. Okay, and so you want to research an industry that you love, and then you want to identify a problem or a need within that industry. After that, you want to either create that product or source that product from a vendor, manufacturer, whoever that solves the problem or provides the resource to the need. Okay, so once you identify that problem or that need, now it's time to create that product. Now it's time to find that product and then provide it, buy it in bulk and provide it to the end consumer. Okay. From there, you want to identify and define the audience that has the problem or need, because it's one thing to recognize the need and the problem in the industry that you're interested in, but it's another thing to connect it to who actually has that problem or that need, okay? And so on the screen, you'll see that I have a little formula, okay? So problem plus product equals the desired result. So your consumer has a problem. Your product in addition to that problem, will help them get the desired result that they want. Okay, so let's say you have you are interested in the skincare industry, and you realize that a lot of African American women suffer from eczema, right? And you're like, I know that there's a solution to this because I create a homemade solution. And so now I just need to figure out how to make this homemade solution in bulk so that I can sell it to the end consumer. So now they have a problem with, African American women have a problem with eczema. You have a product that can solve it, a cream, let's say, and then you're giving them the desired result of hydrated and clear skin, right? That's how the problem plus product equal desired result works. And so I mentioned that you want to identify the people who have that problem after you've identified what the problem is and what the product is. And so this is what I refer to as your bullseye, okay? Or other people, like I said, call it target audience. So you have to remember that everyone does not have the same problems. You cannot target everybody in the whole wide world. The entire world is made up of billions of people, so stop it. You don't even have the inventory or the manpower to supply for billions of people. It doesn't make sense. Even the biggest of biggest companies do not supply to billions of people, okay? Especially when you're dealing with physical products, okay? So you need to start off by figuring out who has that problem. Who is your bullseye? And so you can do this through asking a series of questions and using research tools to discover, research, and identify who your target audience is, okay? So that's a hint that I want you to pay attention to. There are a series of questions to ask, and there are research tools that you can use to discover who your target audience is, dive deeper through research, and actually identify who they are, okay? Now, step 2 in developing your launch branding is you want to utilize PMV statements. This is another term that I like to shorten everything because I like to help people remember it. So you want to utilize what's called PMV statements, okay? So PMV stands for purpose, mission, and values, all right? So step 2 is you want to create PMV statements, okay? So your purpose is the reason you exist, and it is beyond making money. Your brand's purpose is the reason you exist beyond making money, okay? So really dive deep. Is it because, going off of the same example I used with African American women suffering from eczema, is it because you suffered from eczema yourself? Is it because you have a child or a close friend that suffers from eczema and that brought that to your attention? You know, is it because you have a passion for helping women feel beautiful and motivated? What is that purpose? It has to be beyond making money, okay? Your mission then clearly communicates your brand's purpose, objectives, and how it plans to serve its audience. So once you've outlined what your brand's purpose is, your mission then works hand in hand with your purpose to communicate that to your audience, okay? And then your values are your brand's set of guiding principles that shape every aspect of your business. So this one can be a little bit confusing because it's telling you business and brand in the same sentence. So let me break it down for you. So let's say you value customer service, or let's say you value high self-esteem or something like that, right? That is the guide. It starts to build out the guiding principles that shape every aspect of your business, because when it comes to your support aspect, maybe you want to have a support response time of only an hour instead of having them wait for 3 days because you value customer service. Or let's say you value high self-esteem, or you value motivational types of things. I mean, well, high self-esteem, you probably want to put out motivational types of content, or maybe you want to include in your packaging motivational quotes and things like that, right? Because it goes with your values, right? Maybe when you do your videos and your ads, you want to make sure that it's motivational and it's showing women how, you know, they can become an even more beautiful version of themselves because they're already beautiful, but now you're just going to help them have better skin to feel and love themselves way more. right? And so that is what PMV stands for, and that is what your PMV statements are. So the reason you want to develop PMV statements for your brand is because it literally helps you with every aspect of content, and it literally helps you with every move you make within your business, okay? Even when it comes down to you wanting to release a new product or a new collection, if you know what your PMV statements are, you're able to still be aligned with your brand as you release these new things. For people who don't have PMV statements outlined, they end up releasing all of these different things that don't even connect together, that don't even make sense, and then it just turns into a flea market of stuff, and then their audience is confused, and when your audience is confused, your audience doesn't trust you or buy from you, okay? And so that is the reason why you want to make sure you have PMV statements, okay? Step 3 in launch branding. Step 3 is you want to create a brand foundational plan, all right? And put in the chat box if you are learning already, okay? Because we just got started. So put in the chat box if you're already learning something, or in the comment section. So you want to create a brand foundational plan, all right? So within this step, this one is like a step of steps, okay? And I would be here for hours if I tried to break down everything that a brand's foundational plan includes. But to summarize, a brand's foundational plan outlines the unique approach you will take to display your PMV statements, okay? And so you can use this plan to develop content areas and business initiatives that will mold your customer's experience. Okay, so like I just told you, your PMV statements really do shape a lot for your business. So when you have those PMV statements outlined, you can then build what's called a brand's foundational plan and list out how you plan on utilizing your content, what types of content you plan on developing, what types of business initiatives you want to make sure that you educate or inform your audience on, what type of experience do you want to create for your customer. All of these things are molded from your PMV statements, okay? And so you can then take your PMV statements and turn them into well-branded actions, okay? And I'm going to show you an example of this in a second, but I want to share with you a tip that you can use when it comes to developing your brand's foundational plan. And so a tip that I always give is that you want to brainstorm unique and creative ways to engage your audience while showcasing your PMV statements, okay? So when you're building out this brand's foundational plan, really think about creative and unique ways you can engage your audience while showcasing your PMV statements. And I'm going to give you an example, all right? So sticking with the skincare, right? I'm going to give you an example of a business that sells natural body butters, okay? So this business sells natural body butters, and one of their values is transparency, okay? So they value transparency because they don't put any chemicals in their body butters. Everything is handmade, et cetera, et cetera. And so they value transparency because they want to make sure that their consumers know that this is not just some factory made body butter. This is some stuff that actually got some love put into it and some stuff that literally comes from the earth, right? And so with that value of transparency, they decide that when it comes to their content within their brand's foundational plan, they decide that they want to create content that showcases behind the scenes of them making the body butters, right? This is super important because BTS helps your consumers connect with you on a different level. And so releasing BTS content helps overall with that value of transparency, okay? Because now you're pulling back the layers, you're opening up the curtains, and you're allowing people to step into your business so that they can build that trust with you. So this is a good example of how, your values within your PMV statements can be displayed through your content, okay? Now, we've gotten through the first part. So we've gotten through launch branding. Put in the chat box or in the comment section how you are feeling so far, okay? Put it in there. I just told you a lot, okay? Steps 1 through 3 were already so much, all right? Already so much. And these are things that a lot of people when they're launching, they don't know. And so feel good about yourself because you are here and you're learning, and I'm proud of you, okay? So comment in the chat box or in the comment section how you're feeling. All right, so let's get into the second half of the training. So the second half of the training is dedicated to launch marketing, okay? So now that you know the difference between brand and business, what your brand actually is, what your business actually is, and now that you've been able to learn the steps that it takes to develop your brand for launch, now I want to talk about how to develop those marketing strategies for launch, okay? So, first things first is you want to set some goals, okay? So with everything you do in business, you should be setting goals point blank, period. And you need to start from the time that you launch, all right? So when it comes to setting goals for launch, I see that sometimes people are confused because they're like, I don't really know what I'm setting a goal for because I haven't even opened my business yet. And if you feel like this, put it in the chat box or in the comment section. You're like, I don't know what goals to set because I don't got no business. I'm just starting, so I'm just about to wing it and figure it out. And that is not what you want to do, but put it in the chat box if that was you, because after today, it's not going to be you, okay? So when it comes to setting goals for launch, you want to make sure that you set goals within the following areas. You want to set email list size goals. So how many people do you want on your email list? You want to set social media engagement goals. Notice I didn't really say followers. I said engagement because engagement is the key when it comes to launching, right? You want people to engage with your brand. You want people to be aware of your brand. You want to go ahead and set some sales goals just because it's nice to have, some numbers that you want to hit. You want to set add to cart session goals. And the reason why is because statistically, it takes about 7 times for someone to interact with your brand before they purchase. And so as a new business that is launching, add to carts, getting people to add to cart is major. So you should probably set some goals because of that. And then you want to set website traffic goals. And the cool thing about setting sales goals, add to cart goals, and website traffic goals is those 3 actually all connect through what's called a funnel. And that is something that I actually teach in the E-Hustle Club. I teach a lot of this in the E-Hustle Club, actually, from target audience to branding foundation to PMV statements, how to use it to build out content and things like that. And so knowing how certain things work together and how certain things make up your business funnel, it works wonders and it helps so much, right? So you want to set goals for your email list, your social media engagement, sales, add to cart, and website traffic. Okay. And you want to make sure that you're setting strategic goals using what I call the SMART formula. Okay. And some of you already know what the SMART formula is, but you don't actively use it. So if you actually use the SMART formula, comment in the chat box or in the comment section what you use the SMART formula for. Okay. What goals do you use the SMART formula for? If you use it. All right, because some people learned about this a while ago and they don't use it. But believe it or not, SMART goals are the key. Okay, so my tip is that setting SMART goals is just the first step to an effective marketing plan. It is not the end all be all. It is just the first step. And you're going to learn why it's just the first step in 1 second. Okay, but let me show you an example of how you can set goals. And so I have a wrong way to set goals and I have a correct way to set goals. And so the incorrect goal says, I want to sell out of my products. If you're guilty of making this goal for yourself, because some of you are on the verge of launching and you maybe already set goals and you're like, I just want to sell out. If you're guilty of this, put it in the chat box or in the comment section. I want to sell out of all my products. This goal is absolutely incorrect, right? And the correct goal that you should set is, I want to make $1,000 in sales during my first month of selling hair growth oil, right? You see how specific that is, right? That is a measurable goal because I am specific. Selling out of your products could be selling 2 products. Selling out of your products could be selling 50 products. There's no way for you to even measure that goal because you just said, I want to sell out of my products. And sometimes when it comes to launching, some of you are investing too much in inventory, right? And if you want to learn how much inventory you should actually start with, go ahead and I'll put the link on the screen. Go ahead and watch the video of where I said how much inventory you should start with. Another thing too is sometimes you want to sell so much because you didn't price effectively the first time. And I have a pricing and profit class that I actually have as a bonus within the eHustle Club as well, right? But the point is, saying that you want to sell out of your products is not a goal at all. But saying that you would rather make $1,000 in sales during your first month of selling hair growth oil is way better. It is more specific, measurable, and it just, trust me, it just helps with everything else down the line, okay? Now, if you're like, Chanel, okay, I get it, but how do I know what number in sales to put when it comes to my goal if I haven't launched yet? I don't have any sales to base my goal off of. This is an example that can definitely help you, okay? So when it comes to launching and creating launch goals, you want to use either industry standards or you want to use information you have. So if we're using the example I just gave where you said, I want to sell out of my products, right? And I made that goal an actual correct goal by saying I want to sell $1,000 in my first month of selling hair growth oil. This is how I know that it equated to 1,000. So starting off, I decided that I'm only going to create 20 hair growth oils for my launch. I price my hair growth oils at $50, right? And so I realized that once I take 50 and I multiply that by 20, I get 1,000. So because I want to sell out and I have 20 total hair growth oils, it means that to sell out, I need to sell all 20. That's what selling out is. So for me to sell all 20, and the fact that I'm pricing it at $50, 20 times 50 gives me 1,000. So that is how I got the 1,000 launch month sales goal. Okay. And I also put the cost on here of how much I got it for, but that is going deep into detail. But if you wanted to see how much you would actually keep, you would subtract 20 from the 50, and then you would do 30 times 20. Okay. And that would give you 600. So you'll be keeping about 600 in profit after selling all 20 of your hair growth oils. All right. But that is how I got that goal. So it's different to say a specific number. It is way better to say a specific number. It's way better to give yourself a deadline, and way better to give yourself something that is measurable, okay? Because just being generic, like saying something like I want to sell out, isn't being measurable at all, okay? Now, let's get into the next step of launch marketing. So the next step of launch marketing is to create what's called a launch marketing strategy plan. All right. Who can guess what is included in a launch marketing strategy plan? Put it in the chat box or in the comment section if you know what is included in a launch marketing strategy plan. I'm going to tell you anyway, like right now, but just put what you're thinking before I tell you. All right, so when you're creating a launch marketing strategy plan, it's important for you to include what I like to call my GST method, okay? And this is a video that I recently shared on my channel, so you can check it out after this training. But It basically means that I have an overall goal that connects to 2 strategies, and those strategies break into 3 tactics, okay? And the reason why I have this within my launch marketing strategy plan is because doing this helps me to outline, all the things I need to get done in order to reach my goal, my launch goal. So in order to reach my $1,000 sales goal for my launch, I need to have a specific strategy, 2 specific strategies that are going to help me reach that goal. And within those strategies, I need to have tactics, okay? And so you want to use your goals to create a marketing strategy plan. And every marketing tactic within your strategy should be tied to a specific goal, okay? And so that is the importance of doing the GST, using the GST method. And that is also the importance of knowing what it takes to make a successful strategy, knowing how to formulate a strategy, knowing how to think in a creative space to develop a strategy that you know will resonate with your audience and convert your audience so that you can hit whatever that goal is. And sometimes your goal isn't always sales, right? You want to set multiple goals. But for this example, I just use sales because it's just easier to relate, right? Now, after setting your goals and breaking it down using the GST method, you want to create a strategy that is a 3-month process, okay? And so how many of you were set on having a surprise launch? So a surprise launch is kind of like when you just pop up one day and say, hey, my store is open for business, come shop. How many of you guys had intended on doing that? And be completely honest. How many of you intended on doing that? Intended on just popping up and saying, hey, I created this today, come shop. Maybe sharing it with your personal followers or your family or whatever. You're just going to be like, yeah, I released this candle collection today, come shop. Or I released this clothing collection today. This clothing boutique today, come shop. How many of you are guilty, right? If you intended on having a surprise launch, put it in the chat box or in the comment section, all right? And I'm here to tell you that you should not do that. Do not have a surprise launch. Please have a launch that is thought out and you actually have a strategy behind. For my launches, I like to teach my clients, my members of the eHustle Club, to have a 3-month launch, okay? And so the 3-month launch strategy breaks into what I like to call these 3 stages. So you have stage number 1, which is the pre-launch stage. Stage number 2, which is live and launched, which means this is when your actual business is open. And then you have stage number 3, which is audit, analyze, and reinvent. So I'm going to give you guys some more details on what each of these stages actually mean. So stage 1, your pre-launch stage, is the stage where you need to build anticipation for your launch. This is what you skip over when you decide to do a surprise launch. And that is not okay, okay? So you want to build anticipation for your launch. This is done through countdowns, behind the scenes of your launch process, sneak peeks of your products, releasing giveaways, email launch reminders, automated branded emails, building your email list, and so much more, okay? Building anticipation is so much more than just posting on Instagram days before you open, right? And a lot of people fool you to think that. In reality, your pre-launch stage is a combination of so many working pieces to ensure that you get the best result, okay? When it goes to my shoe boutique, I had over 1,000 emails on my email list before I launched. And everyone that was on my email list got pre-designed emails delivered to them on a certain day, depending on when they joined the list, that told them about the launch that I was about to do. Okay, so it gave them enough time to collect their coins. It gave them enough time to mark their calendars, right? So you definitely want to make sure that you're doing that in your pre-launch stage. You want to build that anticipation through several ways. The second stage is your live and launch stage. So in this stage, this is where you actually open the doors to your business and start to execute some of those tactics outlined in your marketing strategy plan, okay? And so these tactics can include maybe having a launch sale. It can include influencers, social media content, promotional videos, and so much more. But the point of this is that in this stage, this is where you open your doors to your business, and this is where you start to execute those things that you outlined in your plan. In stage number 3, this is your AAR stage, okay? So what AAR means, it stands for audit, analyze, and reinvent. So in stage number 3, which is the 3rd month of your launch marketing strategy plan, so just to refresh, month number 1, you're doing all anticipation stuff. Month number 2 is your official month where you open up your business. Month number 3, your business is still open, but you want to perform what's called AAR. So you're going to use data from the previous stage to make adjustments. You're going to then audit your business to get current numbers and analytics and insights and things like that. And then you are going to figure out what is working and what's not working for you based on the tactics you executed when you were live and launched for that full month. You're going to see what did really well, what didn't, and then you are going to reinvent and move on, okay? So that is what AAR stands for. So you have month 1, pre-launch. Month 2, you are live and launched. Month 3 is that AAR stage where you sit back, you see what happened that month you launched, you kind of figure out, okay, this went amazing, or this particular strategy or tactic didn't go so well, and I can see why because I'm analyzing my numbers, and then you use that to reinvent and move forward so that you grow as a business, because the secret to growth is doing more of what's working and less of what isn't. And that's the reason why sometimes you have boutiques that may start out selling accessories, clothing, shoes, handbags are a type of accessory, but let's just say handbags, hair, which I don't know why you would sell all those things in the first place, but you have them start out selling that, and then they realize after looking at their analytics and auditing their business and analyzing their business, they realize that, hey, clothing is actually what's making, 90% of my money. Why am I even wasting time with this stuff? Clothing is what's getting 90% of the attention. Clothing is what 90% of my consumers are asking for. That means I need to focus on clothing and not nothing else. And even let's say you start off with a clothing boutique, and let's say you sell dresses and loungewear, and you sell going out clothing, and you realize that going out clothing is what the girls are asking for. Nobody's paying attention to your loungewear. Nobody's paying attention to your 2-piece sets. And so going out clothes is what they're paying attention to. And so you're like, okay, if they're giving this the most attention, they're requesting going out clothes the most, they're spending most of the money on going out clothes, maybe I just need to focus on selling majority going out clothes and don't sell anything at all, or sell a little bit of the other stuff, right? And so that is how you look at things. Now, when that comes, those bigger decisions come after, I would say, at least a quarter of running a business. You want to make big decisions on what to sell and what not to sell. But in terms of the decisions you're going to be making initially, once you first launch and you look at your first live and launch set of numbers, you can make minor decisions on pricing, on tactics that you use, on certain things like that. And then you move forward from there. Okay? So now that we've covered part A, which was launch branding, and then part B, which is launch marketing, I want to leave you with some action steps. So please make sure that you're writing down these action steps. Okay? So it's one thing to watch this training, and it's another thing to actually put in the work to actually make these things work for you. Okay? So the action steps that I want you to take is I want you to perform a problem solution analysis to decide on the type of business you've launched. And if you've already ordered products and things like that, well, you can still work backwards. So what is the reason why you decided to buy these products? You need to figure out a connection, a problem, and a need on how these clothes are going to solve that problem or provide a resource to that need, okay? So I want you to perform a problem and solution analysis. I then want you to develop a solid brand that will attract your target audience, right? Your bullseyes. I want you to develop a solid brand that will do that. And I want you to do that through the PMV statements. I want you to do that by identifying who has the problem, building out those fundamentals that derive from your PMV statements, et cetera, et cetera. I also want you to utilize strategic goals to build out a 3-month launch marketing strategy plan. So I talked to you a little bit about setting goals. Now it's time for you to create those goals and then build out your launch marketing strategy plan to execute those goals. And then the fourth thing I want you to do is I want you to use analytical tools to your advantage to assess how your business does the month that you launch. And then I want you to reinvent moving forward in your business. Okay, so that way you will continue to grow. Okay, because the trick with that is if you never pay attention to your numbers, you never know what you did right or what you did wrong, and you continue carrying the weight of strategies and tactics that aren't working for you, and that will hinder your growth, right? So you want to make sure that you are able to look at what's working and what's not working so that you can continuously grow as a business, okay? And continue to expand your brand, all right? So now I want to share with you how I can help you, okay? Because I don't want to just leave you high and dry. I want to share with you how I can help you. So I promised that I would share how you can get more training and things like that from me. And so I just want to show you how I've helped other people, okay? So these are all some screenshots on the screen. Some are from DMs, some are from a private group. And you'll see that I had one person say that, you know, the pricing and profit formula that I helped them with helped them change their prices. And since they've gotten 4 sales and 10 people to sign up for their newsletter. And some background on this story is that this happened in the course of 2 days. So they had their prices priced at a point that wasn't attracting their audience, right? Funny thing is, her price was too low for the type of audience she was trying to attract. And that is something that you learn once you outline who your target audience is and outline your PMV statements of your brand and how to uniquely position yourself in your industry, right? And so once we did all that stuff for her, I was like, girl, your prices are running away the high class people that you're trying to attract. And so I said, we need to redo everything, all your prices, and use this pricing and profit formula, using what we now knew about her brand and her audience through working with me, right? And so once she did that, guess what? She literally got 4 sales within 2 days and 10 people signed up for her newsletter. And that's major because the items she sold weren't $5 and $10, okay? The other screenshots I want to point out to you is that I had someone have consistent $300 days, right? She had a $300 day, then she had a $300 morning, right? Then I had someone who was executing the pre-launch strategy, right? So she did her pre-launch and then she was about to start her live and launch sale, and she got her first order before she even announced to her social media that she was launched, because guess what? She had did all the other work that was in the pre-launch stage, right? And so she got a sale, which is insane, before she even launched. It's not impossible. It is actually very possible because I actually got clients before I had launched the Brand Hustler based off of what I was doing for pre-launch. But anyway, then we had someone who launched on June 6th and was currently on this, I believe this date was June 16th. So it was about 10 days later. And they had made 600 so far, and it was in counting. And this is somebody who had launched before and didn't make any money within like the first 2 months. And now she was able to launch and make money within 10 days, okay? And then we have someone else on here who are talking about the hashtag strategy and how it attracted people to actually purchase some lashes from her. And she ended up selling 10 pairs of lashes in total in 1 day, okay? Here is some more receipts on how I can help, right? These are actual screenshots from client stores. I believe this was, I can't remember, but these are some screenshots from client stores where you're seeing how many sales they made in the course of a week, right? And one of them is actually in the course of a day, which is amazing, almost 1,000 in a day. And then the other one is a little over 2,000 in a week. And then I have someone raving about the launch marketing strategy and how it was the best investment they ever made, and how they wanted to start working on building their email list. Speaking of email list, right? I have another person raving, and she's actually a member of the eHustle Club, raving about how her email list has been growing, okay? And so she started with 324 people on her list. She then got it to a little over 1,600. She then got it to over 2,000, and then she got it to over 3,500, and it kept growing from there, right? And these were all well-targeted people, because she told me when she would send out emails, she was guaranteed to get sales every time she sent out an email. And that is the power of knowing your target audience, and also combining it with how to build a list, okay? And so her open rate was actually at 24%, which is really good for her industry. And you can learn all about open rates and things like that if you decide to work with me, okay? And so what I want to present to you is the eHustle Club, okay? So this is how you are going to be able to work with me to learn how to build your email list, to learn how to do all of that stuff that needs to happen in the pre-launch phase. You're going to learn how to build your branding foundation, learn how to map out your target audience and research them. You're going to learn how to create strategies. You're going to learn how to create content. You're going to learn how to do all these things that it takes to launch successfully and achieve your business goals. Not only that, but there's even a class in the eHustle Club that teaches you how to intentionally and strategically set goals, okay? The eHustle Club not only will help you launch successfully and achieve your business goals, but it'll help you build a bulletproof brand that your audience recognizes and loves. I once had a client tell me that she was out and about at some store or something like that, and I think she either had on a t-shirt or a hat or something with her brand on it, and a lady literally stopped her and said, "Hey, I've been seeing your ads lately, and I actually went to your website and added some stuff to cart and plan on coming back and shopping with you on payday." She had on like a piece of apparel, and the fact that the lady recognized who she was, and it was legit. She pulled up her Instagram, not her Instagram, she pulled up her phone and showed her, the email she had gotten with abandoned cart, and it was legit her brand, which is amazing, right? So I'm going to teach you how you can build a bulletproof brand that your audience recognizes and loves. Not only that, but in the eHustle Club, you're going to learn how to run a fruitful business, because you're going to learn what you need to know to map out strategic next steps. There's no guesswork at all. Once you join the club, you're going to learn that everything is calculated. Every single thing is calculated. You need to have a calculated launch, and you need to continue to calculate so that you can grow, okay? And then you're also going to gain the support that you need, because there's going to be a network of entrepreneurs that are at the same stage as you, and also some entrepreneurs that have already launched, and they can give you guidance and answer questions. But then you also have me and other experts within your reach, right? And so the eHustle Club is amazing. It is the only monthly membership club created for product-based entrepreneurs in the fashion and beauty spaces, okay? And yes, we do have some people who aren't necessarily in fashion and beauty. They may be in candles or something like that. I count candles as beauty because it's self-care. So we do have, some people who are in the club who aren't necessarily strictly fashion and beauty, but they do all, for the most part, sell products. But yes, okay, so you're going to learn how to launch successfully, build a bulletproof brand, run a fruitful business, and you're going to be able to gain the support that you need, okay? And so here is some things that the eHustle Club actually includes. And if you're like, Chanel, I'm already sold, go ahead and open up the description box and click that link, okay? And I'll make sure that I put in the chat box as well. But here's what it includes. So you get monthly masterclasses hosted by me, okay? So every single month I am dropping branding and marketing gems for you to learn how to launch successfully, or how to keep up the momentum after your launch, okay? The other thing that it includes is monthly guest lessons hosted by industry experts, okay? Specifically this month, I have my CFO, which is Chief Financial Officer, coming in and speaking all about entrepreneur finances 101. She's going to tell you what you need to do with your money to make sure you save a certain amount of money, to make sure that you do certain things so that you don't get called out by the IRS and et cetera, okay? And so that is really dope because I understand that I don't know everything, but I don't want that to stop or limit the amount of growth and the revenue potential that your business can see, okay? So I make sure that I outsource everything that I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and find somebody that does know, okay? The third thing that it includes, which this is actually new within the eHustle Club, and I'm so excited for it. It includes Hustle Talks, okay? So Hustle Talks are interviews of well-known business owners. So you have your favorite people you watch on YouTube. I'm probably one of them, but you have your favorites that you watch on YouTube that maybe sell products as well, the same product that you are interested in selling or that you already do sell. And we know who those are. Why? Because our members tell us who they are, and we're able to, take that, build a list, and reach out to some people and get some people to agree to come and speak to us. And so with Hustle Talks, it is going to be like an interview series where I'm going to ask the particular guest that is there that day questions that the members want to know answers to. So you can literally submit your question that you have for the whatever well-known business owner we have in the club. You can submit your questions and I will ask them those questions. This is great for you to learn what their journey was, their struggles were, any advice that they have for people who are trying to go down the same path, etc., etc. The fourth thing that is included are e-mingles. And so this is for you to build your network and your net worth, because honestly, how much you make is a good indicator of who you surround yourself around, okay? So it's network and net worth building. These are just fun, intimate events where we get to be real and raw with each other and discuss the struggles of entrepreneurship, the ups, the downs, the in-betweens, and really just build a connection and a community with other like-minded women, okay? So those are the 4 things that it includes. If you are excited about any of those 4, comment down in the comment box or in the chat box about which one of these things are the most exciting to you. For me, I honestly love them all, but I would say e-mingles, because when I started my business, I felt like it was very lonely, and I don't want anyone to feel lonely at all. I want you to have a support system, okay? Because that helps a lot. There are certain things that your current friends or current friends and family don't know and can't provide support for. So it helps to have someone who is going down a similar path as you to lean on or to just vent to at times, okay? And that's probably why e-mingles is my favorite. So put in the chat box or in the comment section what your favorite is. And then in addition to all that stuff, you also get the private networking group. So we recently moved over to Facebook group. So you'll get access to the private networking group. You also get a dashboard, right? So you set up your own password and your username to be able to sign into a dashboard of class replays. So all of our classes are recorded. Even the guest speaker sessions are recorded, and they're uploaded to a dashboard that you have access to 24/7. You just have to sign in, and you're able to see the class replays. In addition to that, you get ebooks, workbooks, and bonus content that I create just for the eHustle Club. There are a lot of templates and things like that that are just in there for those members. You also get access to discounts on different services, whether it's my services or guest speaker services. And we also run contests sometimes and give away prizes, okay? And so I want to address some of the common questions that I get before I look at the chat box. So some of the common questions I get are, 1, what if I am a seasoned business owner? How can I get the help I need? So we actually do have a few business owners in the club who use the classes as constant refreshers. So maybe they've launched maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, things like that. Margaret, which is the example I showed you with the email list, she actually has been in business for years, but she knew that there were things that she still didn't know. And so she joined the club because of that. And she has been able to see that growth on her email list and growth in other areas because of the club. So she uses it kind of like as a constant refresher to get the branding and marketing brushing up that she needs, as well as the business essentials from our guest speakers. Because in business, you can never stop learning or growing, okay? Honestly, it is a cycle. You have to learn, you have to be able to have your mind open so that you can continue to grow. However, if you've been in business for over a year and you're facing more advanced issues, please check out my other offers. I do have an intensive program that is going to be launching soon. I'll include the link in the description for you to sign up for that list if you want. But if you haven't launched yet, or if you are new to business and maybe you launched within the past month or 2 months and you know that you didn't launch correctly in the first place, or even if you're just like, I don't really have any intense issues, but I would love some branding and marketing brush ups, then the eHustle Club is the perfect spot for you. But if you do have super advanced issues that you need help with, then I'll put the link so that you can sign up for the wait list for my intensive, okay? The second question that I usually get as well is, the world and my business are always changing. Trust me, I know, because Instagram just changed up on your girl. But how can the eHustle Club help me with that? So the cool thing is that the class curriculum and challenges are created by the members in the club. And here is how. So I see the questions that you guys are asking in the club. I also ask certain questions that help me learn about the problems that my members are experiencing. And because the group is intimately sized right now, I can focus on the needs of the group. So I can create classes that I know the members need. All right. And our curriculum is not something that is built out for the full year. No, I kind of build it as I go each and every quarter. Okay. And the last question that I usually get is that I work or attend church at night. Will I miss the live classes? Yes. So our classes are on first and third Thursdays, typically at 7 p.m. And so some people are still at work or they go to Bible study. And so you will miss the sessions, but they are recorded and stored within your dashboard for you to rewatch when you have time. Okay. So this is kind of like a little snippet of the dashboard, right? And I want to actually show you what it looks like. So these are like all of the past classes. So it dates back to February 2020 because that's when the eHustle Club started. So you see all of these classes are all in here stored and ready for you to start and watch. There's some bonus content within here all the way at the bottom, bonus resources, things like that we are continuously adding to each and every day. Okay, not every day, each and every quarter. All right. So that is definitely very good that we store everything. Okay. So I want you to be able to grow with the eHustle Club. I want you to be able to launch the right way and continue with your business growth with the eHustle Club. And so the price point for this is actually, you can prepay for the year for $527, or you can join monthly for $49 a month. Okay, there are some benefits to prepaying, which I will show you in a second. But when you think about the cost of $49 a month, you spend more than that on food, more than that on groceries, more than that probably on gas, depending on the type of car that you have. So when you really think about $49 a month to invest in learning how to build your brand, launch your business, and then run your business the right way, it does not compare at all. It does not compare. So many members within the eHustle Club tell me that we should be charging way more than we do, but we wanted to make sure that it was affordable because we know that the people within the eHustle Club, you know, you're at the beginning stages of the entrepreneurship. You don't want to get slapped with a high amount. Okay, so you can pay $49 a month, or you can pay $527 for the year, which actually saves you about 2.5 months worth of paying. Okay, if you prepay for the year. But in addition to saving a little bit when it comes to the yearly plan, you get 2 bonuses that the monthly plan does not get. So on both plans, you have live masterclasses, Q&A sessions, the guest speaker sessions, e-mingles, hustle talks, the private networking group, the accountability and support of the members, the discounts and prizes, and you get the library of ebooks, workbooks, and bonuses. But only the people who subscribe to the yearly plan get first dibs on brand audits. So what that means is occasionally I do like website audits, Instagram audits, and things like that. And so the people who are subscribed to the yearly plan will get first dibs on that. I will pick from that list first before I go over to the monthly plan list. All right. The yearly plan also gets access to the eHustle Club library of 40 plus masterclasses and expert lessons. Okay. And this one is golden. So remember I said that all of our classes and guest speaker sessions are recorded. They're recorded and stored in a dashboard that is hosted on Teachable. However, with the monthly plan, some of those things are locked to you. So you will have access to the current month and a few other months, but a lot of the other classes are locked and they will unlock the longer you stay in the club, which is why that's called dripped content. So the longer you stay in the club, the more things will unlock to you for the people who are on the monthly plan. If you decide to prepay for the year, you'll have access to everything. Everything will be unlocked all at once for you, okay? Which is why this is the best value, because you get to dive in, see and watch and indulge in all of the classes that you need, as well as the current month, as well as you get the first dibs on brand audits, and it's really such a great value, okay? Like, I invest in myself all the time, and when I tell y'all that these prices are, you cannot beat these, okay? I've in quarter one alone, what are we in quarter three? I'm sorry, we're in quarter, I don't know what quarter we're in, I completely forgot. But in this year alone, like, I have invested literally over $25,000 worth of dollars within coaches so that I can grow my business, right? And so this is nothing. This is nothing compared to that. It is all about making the investment within yourself, knowing that you're serious about launching your business, knowing that you're serious about having an amazing brand, growing that brand, etc. And so enrollment does close in 4 days. We're doing open and close enrollment now. I don't know when the next time it's going to open up, because I do have a lot of things that we are, working out the kinks for in terms of other programs and the agency and things like that. So we really want to make sure that we get the people who need to be in the eHustle Club and we can focus on them and not have to worry about people joining every single day. We want to focus on the meat and potatoes. Okay. So enrollment does close in 4 days. So if you're interested, please make sure that you head to ehustleclub.com. The link is also in my description box, and I'll put it in the chat box as well. But head over to ehustleclub.com so that you can sign up, okay? And remember, this could be you, okay? So here are some more receipts. We got Victoria in the corner who passed 50 orders, and her site was only live since the 13th. This wasn't this month. I believe this was in April. And so these are all screenshots from the eHustle Club, by the way. So she was live, since the 13th of the month. I believe it was like day 10 for her, and she was past 50 orders, which is amazing. You have Sharice raving about how class was and how it's a blessing to be in this environment. You have Shay, who wanted to celebrate her step in business with the people within the eHustle Club, because she knew that nobody else would really understand. So she wanted to come in and share it with the members of the eHustle Club, her sisters. You have Jaquaya, who her email list has been increasing ever since she watched the replay of the email list building class. And then you have Kamaya, who she ended up closing out the day in almost $500 in sales. You have another eHustle Club member who, activated a certain buy now, pay later option, and did a combination of marketing strategies and tactics to get her audience to know about it. And then she ended up making $100 in one sale from activating that buy now, pay later option. And so this could literally be you. There are so many receipts, so much more where this can come from, right? Where I can pull these from, but it's like, I'll be here for days. Okay. So I just want to show you, like, y'all, once you put the strategy and combine it with the bright branding foundation and you have the support behind you, you can launch a business that is amazing, and you can have a brand that reaches so many people and that is so adored by your audience, okay? So please do not sleep on this opportunity. Make sure that you click the link in my description box. Like I said, I'll also put it in the chat and the comment section so that you could go ahead and sign up. And I look forward to seeing you in the eHustle Club. Now, I want to make sure that I answer any questions that you may have about the launch training or about the eHustle Club in general. So I am going to be in the chat box and in the comments for a little while answering any questions that you may have. So feel free to type any questions you have. And once again, I am so happy to do this. I'm so happy. I hope that this training has helped you. And I know that the eHustle Club will help you even more. So to all my people who have already joined, I will see you, okay? I will definitely see you because I'm in the group chat as well. And I will be chatting it up with you, and I will see you at our next live session, okay? And for the people who are still on the fence, come on now. Just invest. But go ahead and ask me any questions that you have.